Hi there. Hey, today I'm talking on an overhead press. It's one of those moves that's something that we don't think about too often till we need to do it. Now, I don't know about you, but I love lifting my grandkids up from the ground, up onto my shoulders and taking them for a ride. But I'm also very much an outdoorsy person and I need to get my kayak onto the roof rack. And I want to be able to do that without relying on anyone else to do it for me. So if reaching overhead feels harder than it used to, or if you're worried about lifting up safely, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Pressing overhead isn't just an exercise. It can impact on our ability to get things back onto the high shelf in the kitchen or that suitcase in the overhead lockers on the plane. In today's video, we'll walk through the how-to of doing an overhead press, along with some shoulder mobility exercise to build strength and improve shoulder mobility, and then we'll put it all together in a 5-minute workout that you can do right at home. Let's get into it. So overhead press. Today I'll mainly be doing mine with a kettlebell. It's my favorite one, but I'll be doing some with dumbbells as well. It's basically the same kind of thing. So you want to keep your wrists in line, don't let them bend either way. You want to be taking it straight up overhead. So you want to be able to lift up overhead, whether it's a one arm or two arms. You want to be able to lift up overhead, pulling that core on, so a little activation of the core before we lift. We make sure that we don't shrug the shoulders while we're there. So we're not going to shrug these shoulders. These shoulders are staying down and away from our ears. Really important actually, even if we do upright rows, overhead press, we have to make sure those shoulders don't follow. So those shoulders stay down and away from the ears at all times. So when we press, those shoulders are not following. We want to keep our ribs down and our pelvis so slightly tucked. So a slight sort of tuck under with that pelvis so that we keep everything nice and taut right through that torso. We are lifting straight up and not away from the body. So potentially when you get into bigger weights and you want to do that overhead press, we're not kind of out here somewhere. It'll put a lot of strain on that shoulder. Now there's certain types of presses we do come out here and we can lift, but with our kettlebell, they will be going straight up. So straight line, straight up. And we need to make sure that that core is on when we do it. We don't want to arch the back. So when you see, you see these guys in the gym and they're looking good and looking at their muscles in the mirror, and you often see them, lifting a big weight, maybe a bicep curl, and they do that big lean back. It's not what we want to do as we lift. We want to be able to lift and everything is staying straight. We're not trying to bend back. And if you're somebody that does arch back or you have not a good back and you do want to start doing a bit of overhead pressing and getting better at it, your first option might be to go in the chair and sit in a chair, because that will take out that lower body part of it that you're not needing to think about. As you lift as well, you want to think about squeezing the glutes. So always think whether it's a deadlift and we've gone forward, coming up, you want to squeeze. Whether it's a lift up and coming back down, you want to squeeze, because we want to turn everything on that we can turn on to make that press a good press. Dumbbells can be better for people with rheumatoid arthritis, because you're going to be able to get a better grip and make sure that wherever you're holding that is going to be a nice hold for you. So it may be that you do an overhead press with your dumbbells with your hands like that. Maybe you prefer it with like that, although most likely not because of the shoulders, probably most people there. But you may have slight variations on all that. There's no strict criteria, but certainly for somebody with arthritis with limited range of motion of the hands, probably something smaller like dumbbells. But you can also be doing a bigger dumbbell, but just something a bit easier to hold. And I think when we lift as well, we're actually turning on the core before we lift. So a little breath in and then turning this core on, and then as we get part way up, you can let that air out. Breath in before we come down, turn the core on, and then down again. So we're doing the out breath on the effort, but particularly we want that core turn on as we take it up. Everything's in control, so you're not wanting a weight here and kind of pressing it up and kind of letting everything roll around here. So everything's strict through here, that core is on, and as we press we want to come up so that this bicep comes right up by the ear. If you've got a kettlebell there, you want to stay as safe as you can. And if I turned onto the side and came up, it should all be in line, kind of right down the side, down through my hip and down through the outer part of my ankle. Now, the reason I have had a look at people in classes, because I have been an instructor waiting for the previous class to end before I go in, and it's a really interesting thing. The reason I'm not really keen on just a bar with weights on the end is if I've got a really strong arm here and this arm doesn't really quite weak and I'm doing a lift, I'll probably see quite a few bars that look like that because my stronger side is doing more of the work. So what I like about two separate weights is it means that your weaker side has to work as well as your stronger side. It just can't rely on the stronger side to do all the work. So really interesting to see people who have a very dominant, very strong side on one particular side. Now, the other thing you can be doing too, if you know that you have a very weak side, as a functional trainer, I'm trying to get people's both sides to work together. So I used to have a very, very weak left side, and because I did everything with my right. And so I have learnt over the years to make this left side work just as hard. So now my left side can pretty well do what my right side can. But if you are very much a dominant side where you're doing all the work on that side, you vacuum clean that side, you lift up the groceries that side, everything is done with that one particular side. You need to think about using your weaker side first. So if we're doing a one arm press, they will both have the same weight, but the stronger side will only have what the weaker side can do. So if the weaker side can do some lifts with a 5 kilo and this one can do like an 8 kilo, you're going to stick with the 5 kilo for both. You're going to do the same amount of reps with both. So the stronger side will only do what the weaker side can do, because then we balance everything up, and as the weaker side gets stronger, we can start to work everything and make everything work a little bit harder. So I'm going to grab my kettlebell now. We're going to go through some kettlebell work, and I'll show you some easy dumbbells as well. Dumbbells are much the same. You can also take those dumbbells out to the side if you did want and do a lift from there and bring it down, but you need to have good shoulders for that. So for most of the time, I have my older clients with their hands in this sort of position. So this sort of position, so that's a really natural position. So whether we take both up or one arm up, it's much the same. So this is the sort of position I would probably have for my overhead press. Out here can be a bit too extreme on those shoulders. So probably staying safe and staying in here. But for now, let's get our kettlebell and have a look at how we can lift that kettlebell. So from here, I'm going to grab my kettlebell. It's got the horns on the kettlebell, it's got the window on the kettlebell. So I'm just going to put my hand through here. The kettlebell sort of rests on the end of my palm. I've got my thumb there, but I'm not got a death grip on it. Too many people, when they do strength training, have a real death grip on the bit of equipment that they're using and get really sore hands, or the fingers get sore. So this is a really light grip on here. So I've got that through there. I'm in the rack position to start with, so I've got my elbow in by my ribs and it is sitting nicely there. I should feel quite comfortable there. I should feel like I can even walk along with it there. So we're going to get into an overhead press. So think about, I'm trying to go straight up here, not trying to go out to the side. I want to be in a straight line, so when I come up and come down, this arm internally rotates as it comes down. As I come up, it's a bit of an external rotation, comes straight back down. So let's have that core on and a little breath in and great. And of course, hopefully you at home started with your weaker arm. We're going to be doing the other arm, same thing. So that elbow is nicely in by our side, tricep kind of lying against our rib. Bit harder if you're a big breasted person, but you're still trying to bring that arm in nice and close. And then squeezing those glutes as you lift as well, really holds everything on, and that core is on. Now, if we're going to do a press with two hands on it, I usually like to hold the base, so the base being right down here, down low, and then from here I can lift. Same thing again, same thing applies. I'm trying to go straight up and then coming back down. Straight up, coming back down. Good. And try not to do that lean back as you do it. So if you have to lean back, the weight may be too big for now, so you may want to go back down to a smaller weight and just do it from there. So we're going to have a look now at some simple kind of opening up of that thoracic area, that upper back, some simple exercises that can help to give you some mobility. So this is one of our mobility exercises. You can be doing this on a low table, you can be doing this on a chair. Just make sure you don't pull the chair over on top of you. But I'm just going to take this, poke my bum right out to the back, and then I'm dropping my head in between my shoulders, and I can feel a lovely, lovely shoulder stretch there. It feels really, really good. You can hold that stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. And now we're going to have a look at a door stretch. So this stretch is to stretch through kind of the pectorals, the front of my shoulder. I'm just going to put an arm, so the arm kind of lies inside the door like that. So my whole arm there, and I'm just going to have a bit of a lean forward with that, and I can feel a nice stretch right into the front of my shoulder. Feels good. But we can also do this on the wall. Let's have a peek. So if you're going to do this on the wall, you're going to face forward to the wall. You can put an arm, so this part of your arm, on the wall, and you're simply going to turn away from the wall. So we're going to turn our whole body away from the wall, and you should be able to feel that nice stretch in the front of that shoulder. Hold again for 20 to 30 seconds and do the other arm. And you might find that one is a bit tighter than the other, but just keep going. Now this is my floor stretch. So I'm going to lie on the floor with my knees up. Just going to take one arm out here. My other arm is over the top. Now we can either slide across, take this elbow right back and look over towards that elbow. The other way we can do this is take that arm right up in the air. Keep these knees down, don't let them go, and follow that hand the whole time while we take it right back behind. And making sure you don't lift these knees off the floor, so they're staying there. Now this exercise does help a lot. I used to not be able to touch the floor with my hand, and now when I do this exercise, I certainly can take this right over there. It's really good. A couple of the other ways to do this while we're already on the floor, one that I quite like is where I'm on my front, take up one knee, take off the opposite hand so it comes through and facing my knee, and this knee stays down while this other arm goes over. This knee does not leave the floor, but it's also a lovely stretch out for that top part of my body. I can feel my shoulder, I can feel my lower back. And it also actually does a lovely stretch into the front of that shoulder that's lying back. So you get kind of a full back and arm one. And of course, where you do one side, you'll do the other. And one more thing that we can be doing here is taking an arm up. We'll reach it right up to the ceiling. And then we're going to reach this arm under as far as we can. Lie down on that shoulder. So I've got that shoulder right under here. Reaching up again. And having that shoulder come right under. Good, and sitting back. Okay, enough mobility work. Let's get into the exercise. Today's workout is that I'm going to include some pulling motions as well, where we pull up, but we're also going to press up as well. So just intertwining the press ups with some pull ups and a little bit of leg work as well. Let's get into it. Okay, we're going to start our workout. We're going to go 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You can be doing this with a dumbbell if you prefer to. We're going to get right into it with a press with our first one. So we're going to leave that core on, prop the core on, and taking those glutes nice and tight as we reach this straight up overhead. Now, for some of my clients who can't get straight up overhead because they've got some shoulder issues, I get them to do part ones, and I know it's not ideal, but until we can get some mobility and things happening in there. Now, as long as you don't have pain with this, you can keep going. If you get pain with any of this, please stop, because there's something more going on that you need to work on before you get into that overhead press. Great, so from here, I'm going to have a little lean forward, hand on my leg, my opposite leg, and I'm pulling this elbow up. Just retracting that scapula as I go. My core is on, and my tongue is on the roof of my mouth because that helps to protect my neck. So tongue behind those top teeth, and we're just pulling this weight up. So whatever weight you felt you could do. Some people feel a bit scared of strength training. Never feel scared of a weight. If you don't feel pain and you feel like you're okay with that weight, then use a bigger weight. Bigger weights are safe as long as we've got good form. And believe me, bigger weights will change your body and will help you to adapt to everyday life, like grandkids going on your shoulder. If I was training here with a really light weight right now, then you know, my grandchild weighs more than a 2 or 3 kilo weight. So, and I know that my older clients, my 90-year-olds, were having struggles with putting their crock pot back onto the shelf, high shelf. And so they had to do quite a bit of exercises to help with that. Their 1 kilo, 2 kilo weights weren't going to help with their 6 kilo crock pot without anything in it. Great. Now I'm going to go into a one-arm press. This kettlebell, as I put my hand through, that kettlebell lies down the back of my hand, and I'm going to hold my core on, and I'm doing a press up. Beautiful. Great. Beautiful. Now sometimes I'll have one in each arm and I'll alternate them around. But today I'm doing one at a time. And this core has to actually work really hard to get that weight up, because we've got an uneven kind of arm, so it means that core has to work harder. Now, if you've got a watch on, flip around the watch face or take it off entirely, because the watch can really get in the way of feeling that kettlebell right close to you. Ooh, it's empowering when you can lift something up. And then when it comes time to lifting that kayak up onto my roof racks, it's not so hard. Good. Right, you're going to take this to an upright row. So we're just going to take 2 hands on the top of our kettlebell. If you've got a dumbbell, you can take a dumbbell on each hand and just going to bring those elbows up. Again, you don't want to shrug the shoulders when you bring that up. You want to bring those elbows up, but don't shrug the shoulders at the same time. Great. How are you going out there? Looking good. Great. Beautiful. Just bring those elbows up. This works through the upper part of our back. If we can get a good strong upper back, we can get even better for overhead presses. Great, so we are going to go back to a one-arm press. Whew. And off we go. Great. Now, many people that aren't strong in those shoulders do need to start with a much smaller weight. So if you need to start with a smaller weight, that is perfectly fine. No problem with that. Good. This time I'm going to do a side lunge. So I'm going to step to the side, and I'm going to have this opposite hand holding the weight, and I'm just going to do a pull as I come back. So I just did a little pull as I come back. If your knees don't like this, you can just do a small step out. But I'm bringing that elbow up as I come back. So if you look at my back, I'm not rounding out. I'm just trying to keep that back straight and bringing that elbow up as I come back. The idea is we step out, is you put weight into this leg. And I'm leaning myself forward, but I've got my core on. And I'm keeping that weight close to me. So as I come down and the weight comes back up, it kind of draws back up over my body. Lovely. Good. I'm bringing my elbow up, and again, remembering not to shrug those shoulders. Good. Whew. Well done. Great. We have 4 seconds to go. Good. Now, this time, we're just going to be doing, we'll do the one arm press. Yeah, we'll just stay with the one arm press. So from here again, lying on my arm, taking it straight up. Can feel that arm are working hard. This is where, if you've been doing this for a bit, you may need to head down to your smaller weight. Great. You good to go again? Well done, making sure that core is on and glutes squeezing, so those bum muscles squeeze as we lift. Now, I'm not expecting you to do a workout quite as intense as this today. It's a lot of arm work, a lot of shoulder work, but it just goes to show what you can put together in a workout. Now, my last one I'm doing here is I'm going to take this up and I'm just doing a little tricep extension. So my elbows are staying close to my head and I'm bringing that back up. So tricep extension. Whew. Now this can replicate putting a grandchild onto your shoulders, because when you take the grandchild off your shoulders, you've actually got to bring them from your shoulders, bring them up and then down to the ground. So this can come in very handy. You should feel your triceps, which is this part of your arm, doing some work now, and keeping those arms fairly close to your head. Well done. Oh my, I don't know how you're feeling at home, but I'm feeling rather tired and my shoulders have just done a great workout. So well done on your effort there. I'll just turn off my timer. So good job. We're trying to go through all the different movements that we feel are the 12 most important movements as you get older. And look, this one can be hard because so many people have problems with their shoulders. But if you can get a bit of mobility into them, a bit of strengthening into them, you will be amazed at what you can do. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.